Grace and peace, everybody. Welcome to Berean TV. Somebody said, Berean, the black church, the black church. You're always talking about the black church, white church. We're all one in Christ Jesus. And I agree with that 100%. But I'm dealing with black apologetics. I'm speaking on the subject of black apologetics. And when I address the black church, there's things that are unique to the black church, like it or not. This is the way it is. And it's I explained in other videos, it's partially because, like the history of the AME church, they were drug off of their knees because they couldn't pray, they couldn't have communion, they couldn't do things with the European brothers and sisters in Christ, the saved people, and they had to wait till they were finished praying. Then the altar was open for the people of African descent to go down and pray. So it was believers were always considered second-class citizens to people in the AME church. Now, I like to give a balance. When we start dealing with slavery, a lot of people don't understand there were plenty Europeans that helped European believers, that helped Harriet Tubman in the Underground Railroad. Those weren't black folk house. Those are white folk house. White folk were helping them travel and move about and set things up and give them lodging and food as they made their way up north. So we have to, I like to keep a balance. I like to give the whole history. Part of the problem that we have today is because a lot of true history hasn't been taught, or the full story. People always say it's your side, their side, and the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. We need that, and we haven't been receiving that in history. Somebody said that the victor is the one that actually writes history. So we have history laid out the way we have it. But when I say the black church, there are things that are unique to us. When I say black apologetics, there are things that are unique to us. I have people in Sunday seminary. I have pastors. I have pastor friends that I'm in touch with. They've been to seminary. They're degreed, not honorary. They're degreed up from seminary. They're learned. You see how I slipped and said that cemetery. That's a Pentecostal thing. But they're degreed up. But they'll say straight up to let you know that the things that you discuss, Berean, seminary doesn't have a class on those things. I listen to Ravi Zachariah. I love Ravi Zachariah, Norman Geisler, Lee Strobel. I listen to James White. But James White, from his own admission, said not too long ago he started hearing about the black Hebrew Israelites. This is new to him. In seminary, they're dealing with the Bible in general and how to address the Bible from a certain standpoint, but there's things in the African American community, from Noble Drew Ali and Elijah Muhammad, that we've been dealing with and coming down. Dr. York and Polite, European apologists don't know who these people are. I can't go up to Ravi Zachariah and ask him about Sarah Sut and Seti. He's going to look at me like I'm speaking in tongues, like I'm speaking another language. These people don't know at the same time that they've been teaching and training in apologetic centers and conferences and teaching certain various things in seminaries that that Sinetta was on the streets. When you start seeing Sinetta in the streets of Harlem, he just didn't start 8-9 years ago. He's been doing this for a long time, and there's always been things discussed in the African American community, those in the African American church, that have not been discussed in seminary for the most part. And it may be years to come before we hear classes dealing with the conscious community in any type of seminary or Bible school or anything of that nature. So I have people that come by. I have people that call me about resources. They have degrees. They're not dumb. They're pastors. But they're looking for resources in this specific area. And that we're lacking because nobody's been paying it any mind. Nobody's been thinking about Dr. York and the Nubians. And now Polite is on the scene with New Covenant and the movement and certain things that they're doing. A lot of people, they haven't, even African-American pastors, never heard of Sinetta TV. Black News 101, Black News 102, but it's growing. And every time something grows, God is always going to raise up a people to answer a thing. This is all it's about, is the move of God and adapting to what's happening new. Now, some people, we like I said, among my ignorant Pentecostal people, and I'm gonna deal with it. Y'all watch out for that video on Pentecostal mystics. We're gonna, there's a lot of stuff that we do that's just not in the Bible, and I don't know how long I'm gonna be down with that Pentecostal / charismatic movement. But getting back to that other thing, there's a lot that even African American pastors don't know. So God is adjusting, God's raising up people to deal with what I call pre-evangelism. You can't just come to someone and tell them, well, because the Bible said it. Those days are over. People don't have a respect for the Bible, and there's a certain thing that has come in the African community that people are talking about in the African American community, dealing with the European image of Jesus. I have a lot of black brothers from the Caribbean and different places, and it doesn't make a difference to them, but to African Americans that are here in the Americas, they discuss that, and they've been discussing that. If Master Fard Muhammad, if Malcolm X is the 5%ers, if they've been using the European image of Jesus to promote, to tell people that the Bible is not our book because of that baby, because of that picture of baby Jesus and all of that, we have to explain these things. Now, that's before we can get anyone to even begin to start trusting in writ, because people have been saying, oh, that proves that it's a white man's book. Now, that's because history hasn't been taught properly. If we go back and we even look at the Buddha, we look at Buddha, some areas or some regions, because everyone worships a god that looks like themselves. When we start dealing with iconographies and images, in Europe, the white Jesus came for the white people, and they had a white Jesus. But as they began to travel after the Renaissance period and move about, the white Jesus went with them. And we have to explain these things. When you get back to the Buddha, in some places you'll see the Buddha, he's a little chubby brown man. And then in other places he's slim and his eyes a little more slanted. That's because the land in where he went, as the theology, as the religion, as the belief began to grow, the image, the iconography of Buddha changed as the theology spread, as the belief system spread around. And that's a lot of stuff we deal with when we start talking about black apologetics. A lot of people say, y'all want to make stuff black, y'all want to make stuff white. When it comes down to it, European Christians have not been dealing with the image of the European Jesus. Why not? Because it's beneficial to them. Others say it doesn't make any difference because we know him not after the flesh. But at the same time, that European image of Jesus was no problem among Hispanic people. In Spain, among different people, there was no image to keep it there in the Catholic Church. No matter who went to the Catholic Church, they accepted a European Jesus. In the Mormon Church, they evangelize in our neighborhoods. Jehovah's Witnesses also with images of European Jesus in the Garden of Eden. Jehovah's Witnesses, everybody's still doing it, but there are people that are talking in the community, so we have to address it as black apologists. That don't mean I don't know all of those. There's a lot of white scholars that I listen to, white seminarians that I listen to, and I believe that they're excellent, but there's things that's tailored to our community that are unique, and to be honest, our European counterparts, as far as apologists, they don't even have to address it. They don't have to address it. Like I said, they don't know who. Even if, and maybe if you was to ask James White or somebody right now, Lee Strobel, who's polite, who's Dr. York, they don't know who these people are. These people they don't carry no weight among. There's no reason for them to really know them, because these are people that have been influential in the African American community. You can say what you want. Malachi Z. York and Polite and Shaka Utmost, Sarah Sutton Seti, and Sinetta Television is very influential. I tell them in Sunday Seminary what TBN and the Word Channel is to us, Sinetta is to the conscious community, and that's very important, because you can say what you want. A major platform for a lot of people in the church has been TBN, has been the Word Channel. Upcoming ministers or ministers that's been out there that haven't got a lot of exposure, they've gotten it once they came onto the Word Channel. So a lot of people, I can say, they help launch some ministries or take ministries further when you start dealing with Paul and Jan Crouch, when you start dealing with the 700 Club and all of that stuff. And Sinetta has been that in the conscious community. So of course God's God's going to have to raise up some apologists to start dealing with the Moore Science Temple and Noble Drew Ali and their doctrine. And right now we're hearing, a lot of people are hearing and seeing things on Facebook, but they don't know where it's actually coming from. So that's where I come in. I've been involved in certain things, and I used to be a pastor, so that's where I come in, and I'm helping to train young people to answer various questions. Pastors that's already established in church that have millennials, they're coming in, they're asking questions. The days of the gatekeeper are over. The gatekeeper used to be the pastor. The gatekeeper used to be your mother and your father, and they would speak to you concerning spirituality. But those days are long gone. So we need black apologists. We need young black apologists, and it's not, any, because we're causing any racial divide in America. There has been a racial divide, and you can still look at Sunday morning. That Sunday mornings in America is still one of the most racially divided days of the week. White people are in white churches, and black people, for the most part, are in black churches. My name is Brother Berean. If you like what you heard, subscribe. Thanks for watching.